Now, brother, did you hear what the female just stated? She stated, we didn't really break up. What is she saying? In her mind, she's still with him, even though she knows that he's with somebody else. So she's telling you subconsciously that she understands that he can have more than one woman. Or maybe she's just saying that because it's a Caucasian man. Who knows? But I've told you, brothers, in the past that the average female knows that a man can have more than one woman. There's nothing really wrong with that. But once again, let me highlight, just because you can have more than one woman doesn't mean that you should. And in this society, if you come across a great female that you don't want to spoil your relationship with just for the sake of having another female or what have you, then you have to utilize discretion, man. Discretion is the better part of valor. That's what they say anyway. So please understand the difference. Many of these guys, they go into a tizzy over commentary like that because they can't even comprehend having the administrative abilities to have more than one woman. Because once again, every woman that you have is a headache. Every female that you have in your life is a headache. So you have to be willing to deal with those headaches. But the female here just stated that we never really broke up. But that's also part of that breakup, makeup paradigm that she thinks is part of a functional relationship, and it's not. Once again, brothers, when you get into that breakup, makeup cycle with a female, she's just a concubine. Do not take her seriously at all.
So you're still together?
No, we're not together. I kind of put.
Well, you did break up.
No, we really didn't break up.
Well, then you're still together.
So I don't know.
No, she's just a concubine. That's all.
I don't know. With him, it was just like I said.
Let's do this. You want to break up? I can make it official.
Yeah. Can you please?
Oh, please. You know you still want that damn Caucasian penis inside of you. Knock it off.
You know you called that man for one for the road.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead. Give me some background, sir.
How you doing, Judge? First of all, we're not here for no money. We're not here for anything but her wanting me. Yeah, we did date on and off for years. We had a crib together. Biggest mistake in the world.
Why? What was she like?
The biggest mistake in the world. That's why I have the series. Know who you're living with. Know who you're living with, man. Many of you brothers, man, especially a lot of you cats who are younger, you have your own place. You should be living by yourself for a certain period of time before you even consider living with a female. And you should be with that female for years before you consider living with her. You have to get to know the ins and outs of many of these females because most of them are raised in environments where they're taught to disrespect the masculine principle, and they'll hide it relatively well until you move in with them. You cannot just jump willy-nilly into these strange situations.
Well, first off, a week after we moved in the crib, she kicked me out the crib. We broke up, we stopped talking, we were on and off, a couple months went by, 3-4 months, we were slowly communicating again, trying to work it out,
And you see that she's utilizing the same tactics that the liberal black female will utilize on the black man. So that shows you the situation, the dynamics don't change just because of so-called race. Why do I highlight the liberal black woman? Because for the most part, that's who most of you brothers will be dealing with in this society. But the dynamics don't really change based on race. They change based on culture. So if you come across a so-called black female who's been raised to respect the masculine principle, she's been raised in a household with strong male energy, and she understands the importance of respecting that, then of course you're going to judge her and evaluate her on a far higher level. You could be with a woman of another race. If she's also being raised in these toxic feminazi environments, you're going to experience the same issues. And one of the main tactics that the female will use, the liberal female, once she gets you to move in with her, she'll try to kick you out over and over again to try to break that man down. There's going to be another Judge Mathis case that I'm going to be covering where that was the situation. And of course, that led to a lot of domestic violence. So brothers have to consider all these things. And I've heard stories. I know for a fact one of my brothers told me about an issue with one of his homeboys where the dude came home and his woman called him a homosexual or something like that. That led to a domestic disturbance or domestic dispute where eventually the brother ended up getting arrested. So I cannot stress enough how important it is for the female that you're with to respect the masculine principle. And it starts with you respecting your own manhood, man.
I figured we tried it again. Tried it again. Back to the same BS.
So that should have told you 2 strikes, you're out. In these relationships, 2 strikes, they're out when it comes to extremely disrespectful, dismissive, or denigrating behavior. And of course, he's not detailing what he may have done to lead up to him being quote unquote kicked out of the house. But as a grown man, you should never be in a position where a person can kick you out of your home. So that shows that he fell for the okie doke. Most likely his name was not even on the lease. And also, let me say this. When the police come to your home and there's a domestic dispute between a male and a female, 9 times out of 10, they're going to ask the man to leave. That's modus operandi in this society. That's their way of showing you that they view the woman as the head of the quote-unquote household now.
So in between that time we broke up.
I mean, but what was causing all this? You didn't tell me what was causing it. Was she catching you cheating?
No, she ain't never called me. I never cheated on her, but her problem was she believes all her friends. And for someone who don't have social media, you follow the hell out of my social media. So she pretty much got...
Hey, brothers, did you hear what the dude said? He said that he never cheated, or at least allegedly he never quote-unquote cheated. But that she was believing what her friends were saying. I have a video series. That's why I tell you, brothers, know who your woman's friends are. Whoever your woman's friends are is what she's going to be. Many of these females allow their relationships to be sabotaged by the females that they call their friends or the females in their family. Major, major issue.
She got mad at me because the last time we broke up, which was in early 2016, around February or January, February, I started talking to this other woman. Now me and this other woman started dating. She got pregnant. So then, make it work. This is my 4th kid. So
4th kid, probably at least three different women, all black women, guaranteed.
I'm taking care of them. Plus, trying to deal with her, just at least be friends. And it's, you're stalking my life. You showing up at my crib at 5 o'clock in the morning, that I'm at home with my girlfriend who's pregnant.
When did she start showing up at your house?
One day, it was over the summer, about June, July-ish. June or July, I'm not exactly sure exactly what month it was. About 4 o'clock in the morning, I hear a ding dong. I thought it was my brother, because my brother lived across the street. Sometimes he might come home drunk and ring the doorbell and go home, just to be funny. So I'm thinking it was my brother. So then I waited about 5 minutes. I was like, if it's Corey, I'm going to go down there and
And you were with your woman then?
Yeah, we were in the bed sleep about 5 o'clock in the morning. So then another doorbell ring. I'm like, okay, maybe he's really drunk and he just wants to come in and don't want to walk across the street. So I left it alone. About 10 minutes go by, she rings the doorbell for like a minute straight. Now I have kids in the house. So I come out the house in my boxers and my Timberlands. And I chase her down the street. She runs down the street, across the street, back to my dad's apartment building, into his lobby of his building, screaming at the top of her lungs at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Your Honor.
No. There's no Your Honors.
Don't go away. There's more Judge Mathis after this.
I'm trying to figure out if homeboy really came out in his boxers and his Timberlands and chased this black female all down the street, up the sidewalk, into his father's apartment building complex. How come she just didn't call the cops? I wonder why she was trying to protect him.
Go ahead.
I'm not even denying the fact that I owe her $300. I'm not even denying it because I just gave her $700 like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So it's not even about money with her. It's me. And then she called me right while I'm in Florida. Well, a little birdie said you have a tattoo on the right side of your chest. So I take a picture of my chest. There's no tattoo on the right side of my chest.
Well, why would you be taking a photo of the right side of your chest to appease her when you're not with her? Clearly, both of you are dysfunctional, and they're going to end up having sex again, and they're going to keep having sex until the plaintiff can get him to leave the new woman, and then after he leaves the new woman, she's going to leave him again.
Like, where do you hear all this information? She believes everything everybody says, but just so you know, right after she made that phone call, I went the very next day and got the tattoo on the left side of my chest.
Hey, brothers, let me say this real quick. When you're dealing with these females, the best type of female to be with is the one that has the least amount of quote-unquote friends as possible. Because most of these females who think that they have a bunch of friends, they really don't. They really just have other lonely women in their peer group that are confederate with them in how much they hate men. That's really all it's about. So the best type of female to be in a long-term relationship with is a female with as few friends as possible that also respects the masculine principle. But these females with all these friends and on Facebook and Snapchat and all that shit, they're nothing but concubines.
Just so you know, it's on the left side with 3 hearts over the heart.
Let me ask you this. How did your woman react in June when she came?
She wanted to come out the house and put the flip-flops on her.
Thereafter, you still have your woman?
Yeah, I'm with her right now. She at home.
All right, well, you won't be when she watch this and find out about last Thursday.
Yes, she will. She'll still be with him, especially if it's a liberal black woman. He's the prize. The wiggle white boy is the prize.
Oh yeah, she will. Cause she will. She already knows all about this because she knows about last Thursday. There was no last Thursday. We text, but there was no last Thursday, Your Honor. Just because you text somebody doesn't mean something happens.
With him last
Yes, I
Thursday
did have
or
text
not?
messages. I did.
The text message saying what? It was good or
No,
it
him
wasn't
talk-
good
no,
or
him
that's
talk-
the last time?
Your Honor,
What?
I interject. The only thing good about her was the sex.
So,
Well, then that
Ding. Hey, didn't I tell you, brothers, that all the plaintiff is a concubine? That's all she is, and she knows it too. That's why she was saying throughout the case, well, we really never broke up. Well, we were really never together. Well, we were really, because she's confused. She does not even really understand her status yet. And that oftentimes is the case with the liberal female until they get into their mid-30s. When they're in their mid-20s, they utilize a lot of these silly tactics to play games, and they still think that they're wife material. When they get a certain age, they realize they're no longer wife material. And then when they reach about 45 years old, they finally start to mature. And then maybe, if they're fortunate, they can get a man to claim them. But that's pretty much the process of quote-unquote growth for the liberal female. So did it surprise me that the defendant states that the only thing that was good about his relationship, quote-unquote, with the plaintiff was the sex? No, it doesn't, because she's just a concubine. That's how he always viewed her. And once you get into that relationship paradigm of breakup, makeup, that's all that person is. You should never allow someone to initiate any type of serious back and forth with you over something silly more than once without understanding that. If you're still taking someone serious who's forcing all these strange arguments to initiate the breakup, makeup cycle, and you're still taking that person seriously, you get what you deserve.
Well, then that's why you
I
went
wasn't there
back
last
last
Thursday.
Thursday.
I wasn't there last Thursday. No, I wasn't there. I texted her. I wanted to come by,
You don't want
and
your
she was
woman
like,
to know.
I told her. No, I told my girl everything. I don't like my phone. I don't
I
hide
got
secrets.
my new woman. I ain't trying to chase you away.
Nah, I told her.
yeah.
You know, I
Say
thought.
Thursday. Come and show me something that says Thursday. You give me a pile of texts.
And then
Show
she
me
said I
something
changed her
that says, indicates that last Thursday you all were sleeping together, having relations, as we like to call it. So when is the last time you have been in contact with her physically? You all go back and forth.
It was within the 3 months when my girlfriend moved out due to complications of pregnancy. And yeah, she knew what I was doing because I told her what I was doing. I was messing back with her for a couple months because
When was that?
between January and February.
Okay. All right. And that's when.
Now, did you hear what he stated? He said that the new girl knew that he was messing with the plaintiff back and forth for a couple of months. See, the liberal black female doesn't mind when the liberal Caucasian man does all these things, and he could be upfront about it because he's set up to be a paragon. And of course, are there so-called black men who have more than one woman and the women actually know about it? Sure. But they'll be far less tolerant of it than they will for a wiggle white boy like this. But look, either way, it doesn't really matter because a man can have more than one woman, especially if at least one of them is a concubine. But it's up to you to figure out if it's worth losing the rapport, the relationship that you have with a good woman if you're fortunate enough and blessed enough to have one. And she's not receptive to you having more than one woman. It's up for you to discern that.
That's when you all last spent time together.
Yeah, spent time together physically, yes. Text message?
January.
January, February. Maybe March too. But that's about I mean, I can't be exactly sure. I don't keep track of that stuff.
You don't keep track of it because it don't really matter because all the plaintiff is a concubine. She's just a sperm receptacle. That's what you're saying. And I agree with you.
I don't keep track of dates.
I don't know. You trying to see her and sleep? What are you begging? You're begging. This was 2 weeks ago.
She said last Thursday.
Right, but you were begging. It took you that long for her to give in.
Nah, see.
Yeah, I know it was last Thursday, but 2 weeks ago,
begging
it's
don't
when
mean
the begging
anything,
stopped. So what time you want me to come? I'll hit you when I'm done working.
That's not really begging, that's just saying.
She said, it is when she got to go through all that. I thought that was tomorrow. She playing you off, by the way. I don't know if you knew it or not.
Yeah, I know.
I thought that was tomorrow you was going to do that. Why can't we wait until then? You getting the playoff.
No, she wanted Friday. I
This is
can't
you
do no Friday.
begging.
I can't
I
do
asked you
Friday.
yesterday.
Yeah, she wasn't giving him no playoff. She was trying to see if she could drag it out because that was the only way that she can get an interaction with him. She really wants a relationship with him, but she's not functional enough to know how to maintain a relationship. So all she is that concubine status. She's getting attention from him because he likes the ass that he's getting from her. So she understands that that's what she has to offer. So she's going to try to elongate their interaction by playing games. He was just trying to get a piece of ass. That's all.
Yesterday, and yesterday you said tomorrow was going to be the day. I said Friday. I'm going to go back and watch all the videos I have of you so I can see you one way. She says, please do, meaning you ain't going to see her personally. So you better go.
No, she knew that she was going to see him. She just wanted to see him beg. As I told you, brothers, earlier in the video, she's going to continue to try to interact with him until she can get him to leave his current situation. And once he leaves the current situation, she's going to leave him. That's the satisfaction that a concubine gets, that an agent of chaos gets if you allow it, if you're simple enough to allow it. This dude is a silly wiggle white boy. He just gets off on penetrating so-called black women. And I'm sure that it's not that difficult for him. The only thing that this situation is showing me is that whoever the new woman is not satisfying his needs. It is what it is.
Go watch the video. It took you a week of begging to get to last Thursday.
There's more Judge Mathis after this.
Go ahead, ma'am. Tell me about this lawsuit.
Defamation is, like I said,
The contract was the $300 that he says he owes.
correct. Yes.
All right, we have that out the way.
Okay.
How did he defame you?
Basically, like I said, on Facebook, him making videos talking about me, calling me the B word, talking about he hasn't talked to me in over 2 years, like I showed you in the text. We still been seeing.
Now, name calling isn't defamation. Defamation is making up something false that you know to be false, telling it to other people to harm your reputation, and it does harm your reputation. Now, the part you're saying, if he told people, he put it on Facebook, or he told others that he had not seen you in 2 years?
Yes.
What do you think the purpose of that was? Because you have to show that it was intended to hurt your reputation.
Yeah, just to make it look like I'm crazy and I'm stalking him.
Which is defamation, trying to give you a bad reputation by intentionally stating a lie.
Correct.
Sir, what do you say to that?
I put what I put on Facebook, but I've never put her name on Facebook, so how does she know I'm talking about her? Because I've never ever made a post with her name
She's
in it.
the only one that can fit that category.
No, it's a few. No.
Yeah, but come on, Judge. Give me a break. You sound like you just want to file for the plaintiff. So if he decides to make a video about stalking silly bitches, and the only stalking silly bitch in his recent past is the plaintiff, she can take him to court and get money for that? Give me a break. And at the end of the day, if he didn't mention her name, how could you justify a ruling like that? But he deserves it anyway, with his weak ass.
No.
Thank you, Judge. I just thought I won, and just to prove to him that he's still been seeing me. So that's it.
She's glad she won, and to prove to him that he's still been seeing her. This chick is clearly batshit crazy. Why would she have to prove to him that he's still been seeing her? Really, you want to prove to everyone on Facebook and all your homegirls that he's still been seeing you. Because once again, he represents the paragon of what you believe you should want in a man. And you're never going to let him go. You're not going to let him go until you get him to leave the new female that he's with. And once you get him to leave her, then you're going to start fucking with his mind even more. Because he's weak anyway. But once again, brothers, the moral of the story is this. Make sure that you strongly scrutinize the females that you associate with after you scrutinize yourself. That's something that we all have to do. We all must do that every day. Because if not, you end up looking like a jackass in court like this guy right here.
just to prove to you. You could say what you want, your text messages and whatever you want, but the right side of my chest has nothing on it. So your birdie says right there. You see it on the left side. You don't want to look now. You wanted to see so bad.
I'm just done with.
She wanted to see. You wanted to see so bad, right? It's right here. You wanted to see. It's right there.
Oh, thank you.
It's right there.
And he'll be hitting that later that night. It is what it is. Peace.